and welcome to Old People This Week. My name is Jeff, and that scalawag sitting there, that's Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, everyone.
Old People This Week is a podcast for people who are 60 and over, who are agile-minded, sprightly. If you are under 60 and you've stumbled in here, you can go back to TikTok or hang around and you'll learn something. On Old People This Week, we talk about anything and everything except politics. We'll give you the information and the stories you need to know this weekend when you're out with your friends on the pickleball court, or the golf course, or of course, that happy hour where Mike and I spend an inordinate amount of time.
Enjoying our shaken, not stirred martinis.
That's right. So please subscribe. If you subscribe and reach out to us, and if you're in the Palm Springs area, Mike and I will buy you one happy hour price drink and an appetizer of your choice, as long as that appetizer is calamari, because I like calamari. So subscribe right now. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well. You can reach out to us at oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. Send us your questions, your comments, or stories that you've seen and you want us to discuss on the air. You can discuss anything except Mike's hair. He doesn't like that.
What's left of it?
You still have hair there. And finally, check out our Substack, which is 52tasks.substack.com. Last week we talked about fatherhood. This week the task has to do with religion, and you'll see it's a good one. All right, I'm going to start right out with the big news. Of course, we don't want to bury the lead here. Mike and I are going to be appearing on television, specifically in a show called The Desert Chat, hosted by the one and only Sandra Newton, who used to be a host on E! News, amongst other places. She and I both worked at E! Entertainment Television at the same time in the early 90s, but I did not know her. She was a big shot talent, and I was a low-life producer at the time. But anyway, she invited us to appear on her show, and we're super psyched, and we'll give you information as to when that is going to air if you're in the area. And if you're not, then I'll try to get a hold of it, a copy of it, and put some hunks of it in this show, and you can laugh at us.
We'll export it to the national media.
Yeah, send it out to all the national media and see who picks it up, which means no one will pick it up.
Well, they won't if you're wearing a T-shirt.
Hey, there's nothing we can do, Mike, about our appearances. You got the jowls, I got the cables in my neck, and we are what we are. We're going to be on TV. It could be a disaster, by the way.
No, it'll be fine.
All of a sudden, if we were watching the show and all of a sudden and we're sitting there and they start putting graphics over our faces, you'll know why. Desert Chat is on KESQ, an ABC affiliate station. I know that you've probably purchased a new golf shirt to wear, and I am going to have to trim up the old boomer haircut here of mine.
You should get one of those. You should get one of those fake collars that can just set on a T-shirt, and then you won't have to buy a new shirt. Yeah, that work.
In high school, we used to have those Dickies.
Yeah.
They were fake turtlenecks. You'd put them on over your head, and all they did was they'd go around only that far just to slip underneath another shirt. Oh, God. Embarrassing.
Really?
All right. The first thing off the bat I want to talk about is I made my first trip to Costco.
Isn't it incredible?
So I've ignored this Costco phenomenon forever. I thought it was just a place where white trash people crawled out of the forest and bought themselves pallets of toilet paper and stuff. I didn't realize what it really was. And then I went to the local one here, and first of all, it's the size of the Pentagon. It is vast. Acres of space in this place. I got in there and I couldn't believe it. On one side of me, there was an entire tire shop. On another side, there was a place where they sold glasses and give you eye exams. There was a pharmacy. There was a place that the size of a Ralph's that just sold chickens, whole chickens for
Yeah.
$4.99.
The best roast chicken in the market, by the way.
Yeah, that chicken that everybody talks about. I thought that if I went to the back and looked around, there was probably an entire chicken farm out back and a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, and they're huge. Those chickens are huge.
Yeah,
Perfectly
it
cooked.
was.
They're great.
Yeah, they look great. I did not get that, but I did stumble out there, $250 poorer, and we were only supposed to be going doing a looky-loo walkthrough.
Yeah. No, you come out with an 86-piece tool set you never thought you needed.
No, my wife bought the electric toothbrushes.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what was going on. I had sort of I went into a shopping coma, and I woke up about a half hour later out in the parking lot with a cart full of goods and a woman who wasn't even my wife. And it was just, I didn't know what happened to me. It was amazing.
That's
But
part of the premium membership package.
yeah, it was, it was just incredible. So that now I'm a Costco freak and I'm ready to go back and just buy, go crazy. I mean, people are walking around there with just carts that are just stacked with stuff.
Yeah. Well, and what we've noticed is when we go is a lot of the local restaurateurs are there and, buying products in mass commodities for their
Yeah,
restaurants.
yeah. You want napkins? You can buy 1 million napkins there for $5.
Yeah.
At any rate, it was. What do you get there when you go?
Well, I go for the chicken. I go for the salmon. They have incredible whole salmon, and then I take it to the meat guy, and he cuts it up into segments for me, and then I can bring them home, put them in the freezer, and their groceries are terrific.
As you can see from the picture I showed earlier, with me standing proudly in front of the place with my Costco card in hand and a goofy smile on my face, I had a good time. I enjoyed myself.
Well, that's good.
Let's get into this thing. So the 4th of July is coming up, and Mike, I know on the 4th of July you pour yourself a giant martini and lay down in your hammock and loll in the afternoon sun. But I, on the other hand, I get in front of the TV to watch the annual hot dog eating contest from Coney Island at Nathan's hot dog emporium there.
And watch Joey Chitwood do his thing.
Well, it's Joey Chestnut, but he is not even, and Joey Chestnut is not built like a big sumo wrestler or something. He's a relatively thin guy, but you can't out eat the dude. Last year when I saw it, he ate 61 hot dogs with the buns, by the way, in about 20 minutes.
Eat them with the bun, don't you?
Yeah, and he just,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable to watch him consume 61 hot dogs. If I have a hot dog and I have one, and then I try to have another one, I stall out nowadays.
It takes half an hour just to eat one.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
But it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So every year, all kinds of men from all across the world really try to challenge him. It's always some really skinny Japanese dude too, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
name one of them coming up here, who are gigantic eaters. But Joey Chestnut wins every year, but he will not be entered into the contest this year because Nathan's booted him because he signed an endorsement deal with the plant-based brand Impossible Foods.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy on several levels because what is Joey Chestnut endorsing plant-based hot dogs for?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, how could Nathan's shoot themselves in the foot so badly as to get rid of Joey? I mean,
Yeah, you're exactly right. And not only that, but the minute they announced that they weren't picking him up, The Netflix comes out and says that they're going to do a huge, what are they going to call it? Netflix announced a hot dog eating competition that will feature Chestnut and his fiercest rival. So on September 2nd on Netflix, you'll be able to watch Chestnut, who's the 16-time hot dog eating champ, will face off with his frequent competitor, whose name is Takeru Kobayashi. And this contest was just, titled Chestnut versus Kobayashi, Unfinished Beef. Will feature the two chowing down on all beef hot dogs. So Joey's going to go on. He'd probably make more money doing it this way than he would have working for Nathan's this year anyway. So good for him.
Well, yeah, and it just totally guts Nathan's whole promotion. So, now it'll become a Netflix special, and nobody will tune in to the Nathan's contest.
Yeah, because half the reason you turn into Nathan's is to see Joey Chestnut win every year and pounding down and putting away 61 hot dogs into his mouth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I always wondered with these guys, it's not just him, but I watched that show, Man versus Food, where every episode ends with an eating contest. And I just wonder if these guys at the end of these things just go, wait till are smiling for the camera, wait till it's off and then go barf somewhere.
They have to. There's no way your body can accommodate 60 hot dogs. I mean, they're
61.
coming out your nostrils.
That I don't want to see. Oh my God, Joey Chestnut. Okay. Now, Mike, I know what you really do on the 4th of July. You watch golf. Now, for me, watching golf on TV is like watching grass grow, but I know you watch it. And you said that this match this past week at a U.S. Open between Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy was a classic.
Yeah, well, it wasn't for a couple of reasons. One is DeChambeau was one of the PGA golfers who defected and took the Saudi money and went to live golf. But there are 2 or 3 tournaments during the year where the live golf membership is not a disqualifier, and the U.S. Open is one of those tournaments. The other interesting note was that Roy McIlroy, who's one of the best golfers in the world, has not won a major tournament for 10 years. And when he was very young, he did win the U.S. Open, but he was trying to win it again. But he has a history of choking at the last minute in major tournaments, and he did the same again this time. He was tied for the lead going into the 17th hole, and he missed 2 putts that were 14 inches or shorter, and lost the tournament. And DeChambeau, yeah, exactly. And DeChambeau made an absolutely spectacular shot out of a bunker onto the 18th green to then go on and make the winning putt. And I mean, it was a cliffhanger. It was incredible. But
you know what sport you can't choke in?
Please,
hot dog eating contest. A hot dog, you can't choke in that. Well, you could probably choke.
Well, you could, but it would
Choke
be
to
your
death.
last. It would be your last hot dog eating contest.
Joey Chestnut, with hot dogs all over his face,
Yeah,
falling down. That would be something to see.
yeah. Hurry, Bob. We have to pump his stomach. Well, that'll take an hour and a half. He has 60 hot dogs in his stomach.
Oh my
No.
God. All right. And speaking of other things I don't care about, like golf, I'm not really a country music fan. Do you know who performed in front of 106,905 people in a stadium this past week? Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Wiz Khalifa, who was
Or
it, Mike? Tell
it was George Strait, the king of country music.
He's 72 years old,
And he owns it.
and he, and I guess, well, I mean, in that world, he's huge, but 106,000, almost 107,000 people
Yeah.
turned out at the at the stadium at Kyle Stadium at the on the campus of Texas A&M where the Aggies play.
Yeah.
They packed it, and I didn't believe it. So I Googled around and I saw pictures of it. It was incredible. It was packed to the gills.
Yeah. To hear
I
him
wonder.
sing, "All my exes live in Texas, which is why I reside in Tennessee."
I wonder if they gave away free tickets or George Strait bobbleheads or something to get people in there because that's just incredible. It wasn't even a holiday.
Well, I think there are probably a couple things at work. First of all, it's Texas, and he lives there, and he's a legend in the state. In addition to being, the king of country music, literally. Um, and the other speculation is that it probably was his last concert. I mean,
Oh.
he potentially is retiring. So if he does, you want to have seen that last concert.
Well, first of all, musicians never retire. I mean, they will go on until their last ticket is sold, until nobody shows up at all. Look at, Mick Jagger and others. They're ancient. They're still out there performing. So he won't. He'll say he's retiring. Then next year he'll unretire and do another concert. But the 106,905 people surpassed a 1997 Grateful Dead concert in New Jersey.
Yeah. Well,
One can only imagine.
the other thing that you'll find fascinating too, because of your love for rodeo, he's a legitimate rodeo cowboy too. He's a true Texan.
72-year-old George Strait.
Yeah.
He actually looked pretty good. He looked in good shape, and he didn't look like me. I'm almost 72.
That's a stretch, that comparison. I want to see you in a Stetson playing a guitar.
I'd have to sit on top of this luscious hair here.
Yeah, no.
I don't want
You
to
are going to get
smash
that,
down.
you are going to get that trimmed before our television appearance, right?
No, maybe a trim on the sides.
I can do it for you.
No, I don't want you touching my head. All right. So anyway, congrats to George Strait for not only, but and there wasn't like there was people complaining. 106,905 people were evidently very happy at his performance. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, this next story just slayed me. It was called Upside Down Hell.
Oh, God.
On Friday, June 14th, so just recently, 28 passengers were riding in Portland's Oaks amusement park's Atmosphere, meaning it's spelled Atmos and Fear with the FEAR at the end, ride. When at 2:55, the ride stopped in its place, upside down. So these 28 passengers were suspended upside down in the apex position, as the press release put it, for a while, for like over an hour.
Yeah. I love the police report. The first guys who got there said cell phones and jewelry and wallets were falling down from the ride, from people being suspended upside down.
Yeah. This guy, whose name is Daniel Allen, was one of these poor saps who was hung upside down for an hour. And he told the local ABC affiliate after they finally got him off of there that the experience stunned him so much he began to cry when he finally touched the ground. Right, you think, oh my God, I'm hanging upside down. My brain's filling with blood. I can't feel my legs. I'm hanging here. And then finally they cut you loose, or they drag you out somehow, and you hit the ground and probably kiss the ground. And this guy starts crying. Another writer said that he had to hold in his throw up.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you'd be throwing down at that point.
But I can remember going to these carnies when I was a kid. Going to these carnivals that were run by carnies when I was a kid. And those rides there, anything went.
Oh, they're horrible.
Yeah. I got in this thing called the Whirl-A-Wheel one time, which is basically like two cylinders. You sat in one, and there was one on the other side, and it just spun around.
Yeah.
I got into it, and I sat down, and my foot went through the floor. It was that rusty. And there's no seat belts.
No.
So, but you don't expect. But I expect that to happen at the local carnival, but not at these major, major theme parks. So watch out when you get on these rides. If they go upside down, I'm not going on them.
No, I'm not going on them in the first place. I'm very good at standing on the ground next to the hot dog stand and watching them,
Yeah.
but I'm not getting on one.
There was a video when I started looking up these kind of accidents, and there was a little kids ride. It was a little tiny little train, that went around on a track,
Yeah.
and it's full of little kids and not unaccompanied. There was no parents there. They were all standing on the side,
Yeah.
and this train's going around this little track, maybe 30 feet in circumference, and all of a sudden the train derails and it starts on fire.
Great.
And these parents are like flipping out. They're jumping over the fence to get in there and grab their kids off of this crazy train.
Yeah.
All right, anyways. This is the sad story of the week, and it's also has to do with, things that seem normal from the outside and nice, and all of a sudden everything goes wrong. Well, in this case, a Texas guy and his wife go down to Mexico with, by the way, other family members for some sort of celebrations. And almost immediately after they get to Mexico and get to the resort, they decide to get into the hot tub. This guy's name is Jorge Guillen, and his wife Lizette Zambrano. And they went down to the Sonoran Sea Resort in Puerto Penasco. They're from El Paso. And they get there, they check in, they decide to go get in the sauna. Immediately, as he put his foot in to get into the sauna, he was electrocuted, and it knocked him, and he fell into the sauna, and then he was held in there by the electrical charge. So his wife, screaming, tries to get in there to grab him, and she too gets sucked in, and they both have to get dragged out. She survived. Jorge did not survive.
Oh my God. Well, that'd take the edge off your vacation.
That was terrible. Now I read yesterday that Lizette is suing the Mexican resort and the people who put the sauna in there because it was just a disaster. A witness who spoke to Telemundo said bystanders were making frantic attempts to pull the couple out of the water, but they were stymied by the electrical current.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
And the bigger question is, if you live in El Paso, why would you go to Mexico for vacation? Go to Aspen, go to Hawaii, get the hell out of southern Texas and Mexico.
If you live in El Paso, I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah, many times.
To someone from El Paso, Mexico looks like Aspen. That's how bad things are in El Paso. Well, I'll tell you one reason they go down there is because within minutes of El Paso is Juarez. You just cross the border and you're in Mexico.
Yeah.
Feel sorry for Jorge.
Yeah. Taking a swim and getting cooked at the same time. Not a good plan.
No, and that's brutal.
Yeah.
All right, in Hollywood news, besides the fact that I'm watching the best streaming series I've watched in years now, called Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yeah, awesome. We have to start watching that because you were talking about it the other day. Oh, by the way, we watched Mother of the Bride.
Yes.
Yeah, you owe me $100 just for sitting through that excruciatingly bad show.
I told you that it was the most formulaic movie I've ever seen. You knew exactly what was going to happen next. You knew what they were going to say next. You knew everything was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was charming in its own weird way. And that's why people like those kind of things. It's an easy watch. You can sit there, you're half awake or whatever. You watch the thing. Oh, okay. Good night, honey.
Yeah.
but Jake Gyllenhaal, but presumed innocent, but from the book by Scott Turow, that was a movie with Harrison Ford, and uh, and now is this series on, I think it's on Apple, that's just they released the first two episodes and we just tore through those. They were very good. It's going to be a good mystery.
Oh, good. You know what we saw the other day? As much as you love going to movie theaters, we went to see the new Bad Boys with Will Smith. It was great. It was great.
Oh, please. Why didn't you go see your Kevin Costner movie with the Texas thing?
Already bought tickets. We're
Oh,
going
it's
to we're going to the opening night.
when's that?
I think it's next week, either next week or the week after. Looks fabulous.
I don't like Will Smith, so I'm not going to see him.
Yeah, I'm not a Will Smith fan, but it was fun. It was a good movie.
Did you have a drink while you're there?
I sneak it in. Yeah, I hate paying $13 for a bottle of water.
You
So
sneak
we
in a flask.
no, I just take a clear water bottle, fill it with white wine, and walk right in.
Uh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
works.
In other Hollywood news, do you know what a rodent men are, or who the rodent men are?
No.
I'm going to tell you. They're
Okay.
not tiny men or men who eat garbage, or some kind of a furry science experiment got wrong. Oh no. According to the tabloids, they're the most physically desirable thing a man can be at this particularly disorienting moment in American history, exemplified by the faces of actors like the Bears. I don't know if you've seen The Bear on
Uh,
Hulu.
yeah, the one about the guy with the restaurant.
Well, his name is Jeremy Allen White, who sort of goes to work at a restaurant owned by his family when after his brother dies, and
Yeah.
he sort of looks like a mole. Uh, and the challengers leads Mike Faced and Josh O'Connor, as well as Blink 182 drummer Travis Barker. Now, they all look, according to this article, like mole men or rodent men.
Is that supposed to be a compliment
Yeah,
or
it
just
is.
an observation?
Well, it's an observation, but it said that they're now the leading men in our movies and our TV shows. A loose category that seems mostly to refer to men who look a bit like mice or rats. Anyways, it's just just an aside. I don't want to go any further into that because it's
Well, why would you?
yeah,
Hey, rat face,
rat based.
come over
If
here.
we had faces like rats, Mike, we might have more subscribers.
Yeah, no, no. I'd have more hair maybe, but
We have rat hair. You got that now. All right. We talk about scams quite a bit from the standpoint of how stupid you have to be to fall for some of them. I'm calling from Amazon. Hello?
yeah,
I'm calling from Amazon. Someone has charged $400 to your account, and I need your age, your address, your social security number, your date of birth, and the passcode for your alarm service.
yeah,
And and for some reason, people our age will just say, "Oh, here, here's a
yeah.
thing."
Hold on, let me get my wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you and I always tell people that if the phone rings and if the phone rings, and if you answer the phone, which you shouldn't, and if the other person on the line isn't either your spouse or your child or your best friend, then what do you do, Mike?
do not answer the phone.
Or hang it up if you were dumb enough to pick it up.
Just don't. It's
But we read about this great scam this past week. I mean, this is an all-timer. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because it wasn't a scam perpetrated onto an aging person. It was an aging person who was doing the scamming.
yeah. What a piece of work she is. Jesus.
Well, just, yeah, for background, all of a sudden, out of news breaks and became international news that Graceland, which is the tourist attraction, the former home of Elvis Presley, was going to be sold on auction because Lisa Marie Presley, who was the daughter of Elvis and Priscilla, who died last year, she had purportedly taken out a $3.8 million loan from a company called Nassau, I can't pronounce the last name here, Investments, Nassani Investments, and she died. They wanted their money back, so they were going to take the deed of Graceland and put the thing up for auction. Well, people were like, "What the hell? How could they? How could the Presleys be in this much financial trouble? What's going on?" Well, it didn't take long, like 3 or 4 days, for the Presley lawyers to get involved, and then a judge, and to figure out that this was a giant scam. And you thought to yourself, who has the guts, the balls to try to do a scam of that proportion?
Yeah.
Not like scamming somebody out of, a few $100 or whatever. This is the scam Graceland away from the Presley family so they could auction it.
Yeah, it was crazy. And this was just like 3 or 4 weeks ago. This is very recent.
So they, right after this judge stepped in and said, we're not there's not going to be an auction. This thing is fraud. NBC News and other outlets got emails from somebody named Kurt Nassani, Gregory Nassani, and a woman by the name of Carolyn Williams. They said that they were part of a ring of Nigerian identity thieves, and although the Graceland auction had fallen through, they were not done scamming people, and they were not going to get caught. In quotes, they said, "We sit back and laugh at you idiots and watch you make fools of yourselves. Ha ha ha. Come find us in Nigeria." So that's pretty brazen.
Yeah. Well, the story gets better.
Yeah. So the FBI gets involved, as well as other investigators and reporters from NBC and all kind of places. And after this last few weeks of investigation, they trace this whole thing to one 52-year-old woman, a grandma, who lives in this house trailer outside of Branson, Missouri.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. It's really complicated, this story, and involves this woman whose name is Lisa Holden, she has many last names, but what she's using right now is Lisa Holden. Her sister, Linda, a live-in partner of hers named Maria Tazbaz, and of all the odd characters, a guy named Rashid Jeremy Carballo, who was a manicurist at a Branson nail salon.
Perfect.
And you put all these people together, and what happens is that somehow they concoct this scheme to steal Graceland and auction it off, and forged all these documents and sent it to the Presley lawyers and said Lisa Marie took out it's the most audacious scheme I've ever heard of, and they almost got away with it.
Yeah, and which makes you wonder, what else have they gotten away with?
Oh well, the article, if you read it and I read it, there's a lot that she got away with.
Oh yeah, and it was never ending. The crap they pull, and they're proud of it. They absolutely no remorse.
Yeah, it's almost like since she was a teenage girl, she's pulled one stunt after another.
Yeah,
and left this trail that any fool could follow that led right back to her too. And the Carballo guy, what's his name? Carballo got involved in this because he befriended Lisa, and then he had some kind of beef at work where he was a manicure pedicure guy at this Branson nail salon, and Lisa starts sending all kind of threatening notes to the owners of the nail salon. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
All right. So the last few weeks, we've been talking about different stars who have really screwed the pooch, more or less, in their careers for various reasons. And I wanted to go back over a few of them because it just kills me that these, well, they're all men in this case. They all have incredible careers and have managed to screw them up so badly that people like hate them now.
I don't know if you saw it just before we started taping, but Justin Timberlake just got arrested for DUI in the Hamptons.
Yeah. Now he gets to go home. I saw that. He gets to go home to Jessica Biel, who's going to yell at him.
Yeah. Who was in the car with you?
Yeah. Probably his kids. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. They do. But I can forgive a guy who, goes out and has one too many and tries to drive home. There's the 6 billion cases of that.
Yeah.
But in the case of like Rob Schneider, I don't know if you know who that actor is.
Yeah, he's a guy who's one of the rat boys. I mean,
Well,
talk about somebody with a mole face.
yeah. But he is one of these guys now that has become a crazy, conspiracy theorist. And whenever he gets hired unwittingly by these people that like a church group just hired him, he gets up and to do a bit and he manages to offend everybody in these rooms and they have to escort him out before his act is over. Yeah. Why? Just because they can't help themselves. Alex Baldwin, who says that, who's on the set of that movie Rust and gets a gun put in his hand and is told to aim it at the camera and shoot it, and then without checking it does so and then kills the cinematographer. Yeah. And then it was trying to say that the gun shot itself.
Yeah. Fired the dreaded self-firing weapon.
Yeah. And then there's Will Smith, who you brought up, who you are evidently a fan of now that you've went to see Bad Boys 2.
No, I'm a fan of the cars and all the tech stuff in the movies. I mean, he's still a jerk. He's still a total asshole, but the movie's a good movie. But he's a jerk.
Yeah. Anybody who goes up on the stage of the Academy Awards when there's only about 4 billion people around the world watching,
yeah,
and slaps the face of Chris Rock and because he's sort of miffed at some joke that Chris Rock said about his wife, that's nuts. And then there's lately Richard Dreyfuss, who we covered, who, the star of Jaws and other movies, who has absolutely flipped his lid. He showed up at a screening of Jaws in which he was hired to do a Q&A after the movie was over, and shows up wearing a dress and swinging a cane around and is making such homophobic and crazy remarks that the people are offended and run screaming out of the theater. And now nobody will hire him.
He got it. He got a promotional deal, though, with the brand of dress he was wearing.
Yeah, he wishes. He didn't even look good in the dress, by the way. It's not like this was a sexy thing.
Well, he's about 5 feet tall. I mean, and wearing what was described as a yellow, bold, printed, flowered dress.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a house frau.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a moo-moo. He looked terrible. And then there's Michael Richards, who played Kramer on Seinfeld. He had this great career, made tons of money. Still making the money, by the way, on the residuals from Seinfeld. And in 2006, he's filmed going on a racist tirade against hecklers while performing at the Laugh Factory in L.A. So, why? I don't know. He has some reasons and excuses for it. If I was him, I'd just say, I don't know. I was high. I don't know what I was saying. I was, controlled by the devil.
He has thin skin. That's why.
Yeah, that's right. If you're a comedian, you're going to get heckled. You just got to get used to it.
Yeah.
And
turn it into an advantage. Don't make it a career ender.
No. It did, though. It effectively ended his career.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the all-timer is Tiger Woods. I know you're a big Tiger Woods fan. He literally had it all. Everything you could have. Beautiful wife, incredible career, maybe one of the most famous men on earth, He had over $1 billion in the banks from his winning and endorsements, but he had a fatal flaw. He chased tail like a maniac.
Yeah.
And evidently he had an affair with dozens and dozens of women. And then I think his wife found out, and he got in a car accident that night, and then it all came out.
Yeah. The whole thing was a train wreck.
And since then, he did make a comeback. He won the Masters one more time after that. But generally speaking, that since that night when he got in that car accident, his career was not the same.
No. No.
So, Mike, I suggest that you and I sit down, and since we're super smart, and we write down a manual that we'll give out to celebrities as to how not to wreck their careers.
A do not do handbook.
Yeah. Don't cheat. Don't go on tirades. Don't just enjoy your money and your life, and don't, for whatever reason, they get crazy when they get rich and famous.
Yeah. Well, they think they're 10 feet tall and bulletproof, and they start to believe all their own shit.
You think that'll happen to us if this podcast, if we get a few 100,000 subscribers, you and I will all go to our heads and we'll start doing wacky things?
I doubt it. I don't think, I don't think anything will change the fact that I have 3 chins, no hair. No, no one is gonna be too impressed with the fact that I have a little money.
3 chins and hair that you cut yourself, by the way.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
Do you know how much money I save doing this?
I don't know if the place to save your money is on haircuts.
I'm going to teach you how to do it, because anything would be an improvement over what's happening there. I don't even know how to explain that.
No explanations necessary. All right, you said you wanted to, every week you've been doing one of your old man rants that are, just come out of your mouth for some reason, and I can't stop them. So I figured we'd we'd memorialize them by giving you a segment to do it. So Mike, what is your boomer rant today?
This was a perfect one, because your experience at Costco kind of brought it to mind. But I went to the grocery market the other day.
Hold on, you have 1 minute. I'm going to time you here.
It won't
3,
take
2, 1.
Go. I went to buy groceries the other day and to go to Lowe's hardware store, and both have now adopted a self-checkout function. So no longer do they bother to thank you as you go through the checkout line and tally your goods for you and help you bag your goods. Now you have to do it all yourself. I counted yesterday. It took 8 taps just on the computer to recognize me, authorize me to charge things that I was putting on the table. And then you have to bag your own goods, and there's someone standing there watching you who probably in another life had been a checkout clerk, providing the service they're now asking you to do yourself. It is the stupidest, most aggravating thing I've seen in retail.
All right, you went way over 1 minute on that. Right.
I don't care.
Well, to a store, it's just they can have less employees, and so they're putting the responsibility for checking out now on the customer, and you just have to.
They're not passing any of the savings for all those people they're firing onto us.
All right. Well, all right. Well, thank you for that, Mike.
I knew you'd be on the edge of your chair waiting.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a good one. That was a good rant. That was a good one. For our last story of today, there's a giant crocodile terrorizing an Australian town. It's eating up dogs, chasing after kids, lunging after kids. And finally, the citizens had enough, and they went to the local police and asked them if they would shoot this, giant croc. It was 12 foot long, by the way. So the cops went out there and shot this thing, and the pissed off, or I should say jubilant townspeople, they decided to have a huge feast for all the locals. They cooked up the entire crocodile. Some of it was cooked on a barbecue. Some of it was wrapped in a banana leaves and cooked in the ground. And some of it was cooked into a crocodile tail soup.
I love that.
Yeah.
The ultimate retribution.
Finally. We see these crocodiles getting away with everything. Every week we talk about it. They're all over the place. They're eating all kind of things, and they never get in trouble. We did that one a few months ago about they saw the croc walking by with somebody's body parts in its mouth, and nobody did anything. So finally one gets its retribution. So too bad, you croc. I don't care. Goodbye. By the way, it was called a saltwater croc. I don't know what the difference is between saltwater and non-saltwater croc, but this was a saltwater croc.
That's just the only difference is between pure water and salt water, where they eat you.
Where they eat you. Doesn't matter. You're salty or not, they'll eat you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. Remember to subscribe. Please subscribe, and you can come and have a free drink with us and an appetizer. Please check us out on Apple or Spotify. Check out the Substack at 52tasks.substack.com and send us an email, oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. We'll answer all questions, answer everything, because we're geniuses.
You got it, man.
Adios, amigo.
Take care. See you later.